Hello and welcome to my Wonderland Mini Golf course. I've been experimenting a lot with the sports toys recently as I've been preparing for the series of Toy Box Tutorials episodes that will cover them. And I've been trying to come up with some fun ways of using those toys, and this is one of the ideas that I had. It's a 10-hole mini golf course filled with some fun and interesting obstacles that will hopefully get you thinking about the kinds of holes that you could design or build for your own courses. We're going to begin here on hole number 1 as we enter the castle. And on every hole you'll come up to the button and push the button, which will put your ball out on the starting point. And every player will do this, so if you've got 2 players, player 1 will push the button, they'll take their shot, then player 2 will push the button, and then they can take their shot. But before I begin, I want to give you some tips on how to play, because if you saw the preview trailer, then you probably noticed that there's a lot of ways that you can get the ball rolling, and some ways work better for some players than others. One of my favorite ways to play is with the Flamingo Croquet Mallet Power Disc, but it can be a little bit tricky to use. What you have to do is line up your shot and kind of get yourself pointed in the right direction, and you want to make sure you're back away from the ball a little bit, and then you can come and push the attack button, which will cause her to swing her mallet, and that will get the ball rolling in the direction that you want to go. Let me just throw a second ball down here. But if you're not lined up perfectly with this, and we're off a little bit to the side, let me do this in kind of an exaggerated way for an example. And you're a little too close to the ball and you're not kind of pointing in the right direction. She's really lined up this way, but she's facing that way. And if you swing, you'll notice it didn't go the way you thought. She was facing this way and the ball went that way. So you need to stand back a bit and allow the character to step into the swing, and you don't want to stand too close to the ball or it won't go straight ahead. You also want to be sure you're lined up square with it. You can also move the ball just by walking or running into it. So for example, we can push it that way and get the ball rolling, and that's perfectly fine. Depending on what character you use, you can also shoot it or punch it or swing something at it or whatever. The choices are nearly endless, so have fun with it. There's no right or wrong way to hit the ball. And also, there's no scoring built into the toy box because I have no way to know when a player hits the ball, so you have to manually keep score like you do at a real mini golf course. But anyway, let's go ahead and finish out this hole. So I'm going to kind of line up my shot here with the hole. You'll notice she's facing toward the hole. The ball is directly between me and it. I've got a little space behind her, between her and the ball, and it goes that way. So sometimes even with your best effort, it doesn't always work, although this time the shot actually worked the way it's supposed to, although not in the manner I intended. So anyway, I'll take it. Alright, so then we're on to hole number 2. And we'll come up here and push the button, which puts the ball on our starting line, and now we've got a new little obstacle. And the hole is down over there in that direction. So let's see how well I can do with the mallet here this time. That went pretty straight. Aw, man! Ah! So yeah. Well, and there goes that ball. Alright, let's get a fresh ball. So yeah. Same thing happened to her that happened to Donald in the trailer. There it goes. Made it through that time. So I took a mulligan there and started over. Now one of the downsides of this is that the ball can end up kind of close to the wall there, and there's not really much you can do about that. So rather than swing the mallet, I'm just going to push the ball. Alright, so there's that one. And technically I did hit that twice, so I would score it that way. All right, hole number 3. And as you're here, you can kind of look around and see there's a it's a big course. So this one we have a super cannon. So this hole is actually divided up into 2 different areas. So let's see if we can get her kind of lined up with the super cannon here. That works. All right. I'll let the ball come to a rest, hopefully. Maybe. There it goes. All right. And let's try hitting it in that direction. Ah! So as you can see, it's just as frustrating as actual golf can be. But, oh well. Important thing is to have fun. Sometimes I find that pushing the ball works a little bit better than that mallet. Sometimes I do really well with the mallet, and then other times not so much. Alright, I think I'm about lined up. Nope. Will it bounce back? No. So I'm not doing quite so good on this hole.
Amazing.
There we go. Well, maybe we'll make up for it on the next one. All right. I just like to look around at the scenery a little bit sometimes. Okay, this is the hole that I got a hole-in-one on in the preview trailer. And the hole is a little bit off to the left, and there is a slope here, so you got to kind of be careful how you aim this. You don't want to go right at the hole. I try to go a little bit to the right side of the hole. And let's see how that works. Hey, hey! Hole in one. So that kind of makes up a little bit for the previous hole. As you can see, there's a lot of beautiful scenery to look at as you're playing the course. So I tried to make it really pretty. You can kind of look over that way and see the river meanders. All right, next hole. Now this one gets a little tricky because we got these sweeper bars in here. And so getting this through there, I think I'm going to try to go for the left there. And let's see what happens. Maybe that sweeper bar will help it a little bit. There we go. I got a free boost. Didn't cost me a stroke. So that's really good. Alright, and then the next swing, that hole's down there and we got a slope, so this will be a tricky shot. I think I'm going to go left of the hole here. Let's see. Hey! Ah! Just missed it. Oh man, that was so close. That was so close. Alright, let's see. Just give it a little push.
How magnificent!
Alright. And then we're on up over the river to the hedge maze. Just to try to make it a pretty course. It's a great theme for a course. Of course, you can use any toy box theme you want, but now we have a choice. We can go left or right into the maze, and I find this way is a little bit easier, though there are advantages and disadvantages to going each way. Excuse me. We'll head this way with it. And you'll notice we got some little soldiers over here. Whoops. Second shot wasn't quite so good. We'll have to give it a little boost in that direction. Oh, hey. Does that count as a stroke? I don't know. As long as they leave me alone, I'll leave them alone, but I don't think they're going to leave me alone. Alright, so the hole is actually right over here, so we got to get around this hedge. Oh, crap! And that's why I put the enemies in there, because it's a little bit more of a challenging obstacle when you accidentally hit the ball while you're defending yourself. So if you wondered why there's enemies in here, that's why. Oops. See, that didn't go off the way I wanted it to. Ah. So yeah, it can be a little bit tricky. I also find some characters use the mallets better than others. I struggle with the mallet a little bit with Alice. I don't know if it's because of her dress or what it is, but there's other characters like Rapunzel that I don't have that problem with. Oh no! Get back here! Stop, stop, stop. I guess we'll just push it from now on. So my score on this one, if I were keeping score, would be atrocious. But this is how I actually play golf in real life. I'm not consistent at all.
A victory for Wonderland.
But this is probably the toughest hole on the course, just because you got to steer it around those hedges. Okay, there's another enemy lurking around here. There he is. But this is the Mad Hatter's house, or where they're having the Mad Tea Party anyway. So let's see what we can do here. So the ball starts here, and we know we have to go in that direction. I think I'll just push it. And the opening to the next little section is actually over there. So, gotta kind of be careful here. We don't want to get stuck hitting this thing back and forth. Boy, this thing keeps rolling. That's going to make this, getting it through that opening, a little tricky. Ah! Well, that's a good spot for the next shot anyway. And it gets out away from that wall, so that's really good. And let's see how that does. That's pretty decent. Didn't do too bad with that. And again, you can kind of look out over the toy box and just admire the scenery. Now the next hole is actually back over that way. We have to use the teleporter to get there. So we've got a bunch of flowers to hit around, and we got a obstacle out there. Let's see, let's try hitting it that direction. Ooh, that's right up against the terrain there. That's going to be tricky. Keep rolling, keep rolling. keep rolling. Hey, that's good. Alright, and the hole is over that way, so I think we're going to have to... I don't think I can get a direct hit on it. Well, we can try. That's not too bad. Alright, let's see. Try to get the ball between me and the hole. And there we go.
Excellent.
That's pretty good. Alright, next hole. Now this one's a little tricky, because we've got some pinball bumpers, and if you touch one of those, that ball is going to go all over the place. And we need to get it down into that hole. So, let's try not to do what the Hulk did in the preview trailer. And try to push it in that direction. And we got between those bumpers. That's pretty good. So that's not too bad. And then we've got to get it down that slope. So even pushing it, it didn't quite go the direction I was aiming. Alright, so then we got to get it into the hole, and we have to be careful here, because if you get it too far out in front over this way, that bumper will try to hit it. So got to be very careful where you put this. So I'm going to aim for the left side of that hole. Ah! Ah! It got stuck in that groove. Alright, right up against the wall. That's going to make this even trickier. Let's try that. Nope. So this hole gets a little tricky, as you can see. But that's part of the fun. It also gives you room every time you play for some improvement. Alright, and it's going to stop there. Oh, that helped that time. Phew. Alright, final hole. Now this one, there's several ways you could go. You could go right up the middle, or you could try to go off to the sides. But the course goes down and around, and you got to get it through the door down there in the Small World facade. So let's try, let's try down this way. Yeah, it doesn't always go straight even when you try to just push it, so it makes it a little challenging. So that's not bad for a first shot. Getting it now through that opening is going to be a challenge. So let's try pushing it that direction. And if for some reason you miss that hole, and you end up going past it to the point where you can't really get a good shot at it, you can go back up against the fence and come at the hole from the back. So that's another option, and that's fine. That looks like that's what I'll have to do. So you're not stuck if you can't get it down that little narrow channel. Oops, I don't know. I guess that counts as a stroke. That's a horrible place for that to end up. Come on, stop, stop, stop. There we go. So now let's see. There we go.
Another successful battle.
And there we are. And then at this point, once again, just kind of follow the steps to the next hole, except this is going to lead you back to the beginning of the course. And here we are at the start pad where we began, at hole number 1. Well, that's my Wonderland Mini Golf course. It's a lot of fun to play, and it gives you something different to do in the toy box besides fighting enemies or picking up collectibles or racing cars. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment before you go and let me know what you think about it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking my photo in the lower right corner. I'll be back on Wednesday to show you how to start building this toy box. Until then, take care.